evening, everyone. Announcements. Next week we'll be going over sound effects. Same place, same time. GDC After Hours, the first one will be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Little bit different room, 274, not 268. The game jam for the semester will be in Bessie 2226. Starting April 10th at 7 p.m. I don't know why he said 99% sure on location. It will be there. It will be there. Now, inspiration in gaming.
Okay. Today's topic is inspiration, specifically inspiration in gaming. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, whenever you make a game, you got to start from something, right? And that's usually an idea. Correct me if I'm wrong. And a lot of people, it's very common to get stumped like, dang, where do I start? What should I base my game off of? I don't have a really cool freaking idea for my next quadruple A game or, personal project. So, even just finding the starting point for a lot of people can be overwhelming. And that's totally normal. Every creative field, it's hard to get started sometimes, So what is the solution to this? Get inspired. You got to get inspired. Now, it's one thing for me to just tell you to get inspired, so let me elaborate on that. So, all games, literally all of them, start just like as a tiny little pea-sized, or maybe even smaller than pea-sized idea in your head. It can be stupid or it can be kind of cool, but usually it's kind of stupid, but that's cool. So for instance, Minecraft, you got mining and you got crafting. Those are the core concepts of that game. I'm sure you guys can think of core concepts for other games, like Mario is run and jump and Goomba. But even the most complex games can just be boiled down to a couple base ideas that it's built from. So where do ideas come from? That's the bigger thing for inspiration. Well, this might kind of sound obvious, but for most ideas, especially when pertaining to games, ideas or inspiration comes from other games or personal experiences. And what I mean by personal experiences is just like things that you have experienced or seen or done, like going outside, God forbid. A lot of games are outside. But for instance, the first video game was developed in the late 50s, technically, Tennis for Two on a nuclear missile calculation computer. And all it is just a little game of tennis, a little ball of light go, bouncing back and forth on an oscilloscope. But that was based off of some guy's experience with tennis. And then the first, super popular video game people often point to is Pong, which is also just tennis. I guess people in the 60s and 70s just really liked tennis. I don't know what the correlation with that is. But here's some more examples of real-life inspiring games. You might have heard of this, but the original Legend of Zelda for the NES, Shigeru Miyamoto was inspired by his own childhood experiences of exploring the woods behind his house in his hometown. So whenever he was in the position to start making video games, he was like, oh man, it'd be really cool if I could recreate this sense of exploration and childlike adventure in a video game. And that's how we got the original Legend of Zelda. All you do is walk around in the wilderness fighting bugs, defeating Ganon. It's really cool how he was able to make this from just his experiences alone. Another famous example you might not have heard of, the original Street Fighter was actually inspired by the 1973 film Enter the Dragon. Both games are similar in the fact that they are based around an international fighting tournament with competitors from different nationalities. Both in the movie, in the game, you're starting at the bottom and you're fighting your way up the ranks to be the ultimate fighting champion. So there are plenty of games that were solely based off of concepts found in media and things that were surrounding the developers, as they were growing up, or even as they were making the video game itself. Let me do a little rapid fire here for games inspiring other games. Many of these I'm sure you've heard of. There's a game called Infiniminer that is directly responsible for inspiring Minecraft. If you actually look at the two, it almost seems like Minecraft is a knockoff of Infiniminer, at least in the early versions. But, you know, one game became the biggest game in the world and the other didn't. So I guess one was better than the other. Quake and Star Wars inspired the Half-Life series. You can see a lot of the science fiction elements from Star Wars in Half-Life, but all the shooting mechanics and level design started in Quake. Earthbound inspired Undertale because, you know, Sans is Ness. Like that's just how it is. Like
That's true. That's true.
it is true. It was even in the FNAF movie because the one Matt Pat guy was Ness in the FNAF
Oh my gosh,
movie.
that Matt Pat technically plays Sans then.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Wario Land 4 inspired the hit game Pizza Tower. Everyone loves Pizza Tower, you know, according to me anyway. But you know, Wario Land 4 is just is a cool movement-based side-scrolling platformer, and Pizza Tower built on those concepts into a really fluid 2D platformer game. And Rally X inspired my own personal breakout classic indie game, Super Crash Out, that I made for a game jam once. I'm very proud of Super Crash Out. But can you guys name any examples of games directly inspiring other video games? Just off the dome.
I mean, the entire Metroidvania genre is based off of Metroid and Castlevania.
This is true. This is true.
Wii Sports Resort was based off of Wii Sports.
Yes.
Final Fantasy was based off of D&D.
Oh yeah. A lot of RPGs borrow elements from D&D. Yeah.
Stumble Guys was inspired by Fall Guys.
Crab Game was inspired by Squid Game as well, actually.
Overwatch was inspired by TF2.
Yeah, definitely a
I don't
big
play
part.
Overwatch.
I played it when it came out. Worst $30 spent of my life. I guess another big example. Did you know roguelikes are inspired by the game Rogue? I know, it's kind of crazy.
What about roguelites?
Those are just a different genre of game that people refuse to call its own genre, which kind of irritates me, but it's just what
They're pretty distinguishable.
I feel like roguelites like don't have that much to do with rogue, so why even call them roguelites?
Because it's derived from roguelike.
Well, okay, now we're getting 2 layers of abstraction. Just call it its own thing at that point.
Roguelite is meant to be like light as in the softer version.
Implying that there's hard rogue and
That's
Which
normal.
that's roguelike.
oh, okay, was a hard rogue alcoholic?
I don't know.
I don't know where I'm going with this. Sorry. The point I'm trying to get to is that rarely game ideas are truly 100% unique. So whenever you are making a new game and you're like, oh, my idea, I don't think it's just unique enough. It doesn't need to be. I don't think there's any games that are truly unique, you know, other than like the first one. But even then, that was just tennis, like I said earlier. So it's okay if, you know, you wear your inspirations for your games on your sleeve. Like that's totally fine. So it's one thing to just tell you all this, but how do you get inspired yourself? Well, I'm just gonna start off by saying that there's no correct way to come up with an idea. If someone tells you that there is, that is absurd. Everyone thinks totally different. Everyone is pulling from completely different experiences. Whatever works for you creatively works for just you. That's totally fine. But don't forget that creativity can come from anywhere. Be open, think outside of the box, try new ways to be creative. You know, be open to that kind of thing. I'll tell you my personal method real quick for whenever I'm trying to come up with a new idea. First, I start by looking at a game I like to play because I like playing video games. And I'll kind of look at it with a big old magnifying glass and like, is there anything about this game that I wish was different. Usually there is, because games are often created for their creators, not you specifically. So whenever it comes to playing video games, usually there's something that's just like, oh man, I would like it if it was personally this way. I mean, that's why mods exist, right? You know, everyone's just trying to everyone's trying to tweak things that they enjoy to be the best version for them. And then the second thing I do whenever I'm trying to come up with a new game idea is that I look at other games and I'm like, oh man, well, it would be kind of cool if I added this thing into this thing. You know, it's like whenever Fortnite added like cars and stuff. You know, you're driving around. Like I was there whenever they added the shopping cart. That was revolutionary. I was there for Tilted. But taking inspiration from multiple games can usually create something that's very unique, that's very fresh, just because that is a combination of ingredients that has not been seen before. And then, boom, got a new game idea. Yes.
I think something to kind of piggyback off of that is like just simply combining two genres. Like Deadlock is a super good example. You take MOBA and like Overwatch, just combine it together, and you have a brand new genre that can be really popular.
I'm actually a huge fan of Deadlock. I'm Emissary, actually.
How can you actually learn to differentiate a mod versus a potential DLC versus a new game? What dictates them falling into either category?
So a mod, legally speaking, is something that uses an existing IP and just changes it. It's not a legally distinct thing. Usually you can't make money off of a mod unless, you know, you have an arrangement with Valve or something. You take a game and then you just adjust a few things and then boom, that's a mod. A DLC is usually an addition to a game that the game publisher or the person who created the game wants to add to their own existing game. So I guess the difference between mod and DLC is very much a legal term. And then what was the third thing you asked?
How do you differentiate DLC from a new game? What dignifies additional content to a completely separate game?
So a completely separate game, I guess that line is extremely vague. That's kind of like Animal Crossing New Horizons, like a Happy Home Designer DLC. Technically, it's a DLC, but they just put another game in there and called it a DLC. So really, that line doesn't exist. It's just whatever you want to call it, in my opinion, at least. And then here's some other ways to think creatively, just to kind of get the gears turning. You could start with a defining mechanic for your game. You know, just have one core idea or just gameplay theme that you grow and expand all of your other features from. An example of this is that Portal, before it was even called Portal, I think it was called Narbacular Drop or something. It was just a little simple dungeon crawler game, but it had 2 portals that you could travel between. And the original developers of that game built every single mechanic to serve those portals. And then whenever it became a retail release, you know, you're playing through the Portal games, every new element that they add to help you solve puzzles in the game supports the Portal feature. Nothing really takes away from it. Everything adds to the functionality of the portals. Another way you can think creatively is to restrict something that exists. So like take a genre, a game, or an idea and say, oh, what if genre, but you can't do this? An example of this is, you know, take a platformer, say, oh, you can't stop running. Now you have an auto runner, and that's an entirely new genre. Some people could call it a subgenre, but it is its own genre. So whenever you're doing that, just think of fun ways to play around the restriction. A lot of game jams use restrictions to foster creativity. You know, we had a game jam called, you know, the theme was bug. You had to have a bug in your game, whether that be a little critter insect or you have an actual unintended behavior in your game that is intended. It's a restriction that fosters creativity. Do you guys have any personal ways that you like to approach creative thinking that I didn't list here? Yes.
maybe if you think of like the game's main mechanic, maybe you can have a unique spin on that mechanic.
Mhm.
So maybe like, oh, you're making a warrior land clone, but maybe instead of collecting money, you are trying to keep up a combo meter, which I guess is kind of like Pizza Tower, but
Mhm.
it's just like try to keep it up for the entire stage.
Sure.
I'm just kind of off the top of my head.
Oh, it's totally valid. It's totally valid. Anything else? Okay, if not. Okay, we'll move on. So, the whole reason why I told you all of this gobbledygook, like how to think, basically, is for an elevator pitch. Now, for those who don't know, an elevator pitch is sort of a quick summary of yourself or an idea, something that you are trying to sell. The point of an elevator pitch is to effectively communicate your idea to someone else in a short amount of time. You're not necessarily giving them every aching detail of your next quadruple A game. You are just giving them the spark notes. You are simply trying to sell them on something to get their imagination running as fast as yours and to get them excited as you are about your next project. That's what an elevator pitch is for. You just got to get people excited about an idea. You're building hype. So we're going to do a little bit of an activity. I'd like you guys to get into groups of around 2 to 4, and then I'll start a 15-minute timer. And I want you guys to develop an idea for the next big blockbuster game. List your inspirations, combine things from your favorite games, come up with something that you guys would personally want to play yourself. And then afterwards, we'll have each group come up and do a 5-minute elevator pitch. Sell us on your idea. We might even vote on our favorite. And show off any concept art if you want to draw any up. We have the little projector camera right up here. So I'll get the timer started if y'all want to congregate. I do have some scrap paper if y'all need it. I think I only have like 2 pencils though. Yes.
Even though you're an executive, I do here. Yep, script paper.
Yeah, I can get you. 1 second.
Swank exists and I'll play that's third person.
You can come join our group.
I don't just get a paper.
How much would you like?
How much do we need?
So I can give.
How much is the rest?
Like that guy first came in, combos.
Okay, guys. It's been 5 minutes since the 15 minutes ended, which makes that 20 minutes. Yes. We do have time. Like, if y'all think you got something, if y'all are still cooking in the kitchen, that's fine. But
I think we're pretty good.
okay, y'all good?
Yes.
Okay. Who would like? Oh,
We would like to finish.
you would like to go first? Okay, then come up here. I'll just time you on my telephone.
Papers and maybe like move stuff to show.
Oh, let me switch it over to
I'm not sure what all I would be doing.
I was just gonna read off what this says. So-
you don't have cool concepts.
No, we just have words.
Oh
we
my
have
God.
words.
We're very
It's fine. Yeah.
I mean, does anyone have a piece of paper I could like
You'll get to show it off.
draw really quick to show? But so we're thinking of kind of mixing up the style of roguelike and puzzle games since we all kind of like those genres. So each level is a tile system, so like grid based. And then you have to help an autonomous character progress through that level by defeating all the enemies. So you kind of act like an overseer or like a god, omniscient present above that'll kind of manipulate the terrain, flipping tiles over, kind of changing them to do different things. So you could do like damaging tiles, like tiles that block the enemies or block the character, potentially heal them.
we're not sure about all the types, but
Mhm.
they do different things. But then you also have the mechanic where you can't just manipulate one tile at a time. It's different shapes that are kind of randomized that you can act on tiles. So sometimes shapes won't be ideal for this certain situation, or like you have to do clever shapes to use to do different things. But overall, the goal is just help the main character get through, and you're, like I said, that kind of god overseeing. So
And like the units are gonna have like this like a little bio that come with them. Like, okay, here we have Artie. Artie is very spontaneous. He likes to get into danger. He wants to get to the end goal as quick as possible. And then you, as the foreseer or god in the situation, trying to help him get there with his like very aggressive, like very upfront nature without dying or avoiding all the obstacles possible and like getting him safely to the other side. And like maybe like the inspiration for like the puzzle and like the tile thing. I don't know if everyone's here to play Mario 64, the mini game where you have like the sand tiles where you had to match them with the one on the bottom screen. If you click a tile, it flips a certain range of tiles, and if you get the pattern correctly, you move on. If you don't, you lose. That's basically how you will be helping them navigate, where you don't just control one tile, you would like control like array and like helping them like get there safely with like all the different patterns and whatnot.
So you mentioned Super Mario 64, like the DS mini games.
Yep.
Talk about, right? Okay. Were there any other inspirations for this idea?
Well, I mean, just like vaguely involved on like Tetris with like the shapes and fitting them into spaces, making it work regardless of what you get. Was there anything else that was listed out?
yeah, I don't know if we listed specific games, but is much more like just the genre, and then his initial idea with like the grid system of what we could use as a puzzle kind of like spirited us onto the direction of like, okay, well, how would you manipulate those tiles to like make a puzzle roguelike? And we kind of just started adding in more ideas off of that.
Cool. Anything else you want to say?
Our art style would depend on, as he said, say it again.
Expensive.
It depends on our expenses.
Budget.
If we are poor, we're gonna go with like graphics and maybe even pixels. But if we have the bling bling, the ka-ching ka-ching, the money, the dinero, we're gonna get quadruple A artists to join our ranks.
Yeah, I just got chills out. Oh my god.
Listen now.
Nice guys. Very good. You guys want to come up and present? Have to. Yeah, you freaking do.
Requirement.
Speak that like idea.
Yeah. And you will not be refunded for your dues.
Aw, man.
We need that money.
All right. How will does this show up on there? Here with a pencil in a minute. Excellent.
Head drawing.
You can. I know you can turn the brightness down.
Cheese. I see cheese.
Mouse with a one-piece head.
That's a little better.
That's supposed to be a mining head.
And an oxygen tank. It's a space rat. It's a space
There's a one piece hat cosmetic.
Is cosmetics?
Okay, that's how you call it? Microtransactions.
Yeah. Okay, who wants?
All right. So our game is kind of inspired by kind of like Minecraft and Subnautica. The premise is that you're a mouse or a rat on the moon who has fallen for the rumor that it is made of cheese. So he is digging deeper and deeper into the moon, hoping to find cheese. He has to manage his oxygen, and use the resources he finds to build up better equipment, to make his way deeper.
You got this like mining drill rig thing, like I don't know if it exists in real life, but it's like a moon rover with a big drill on the front, and you can drive that around to get many places, and then you can upgrade your miner with the things you find. But you can't get too far away or you'll suffocate because there's air inside the miner. But you're a mouse, you got like 5 minutes.
Does he find cheese?
We think
For
no.
the moon, yes.
Is that just a
Unclear.
Is that an oxygen deprived hallucination?
Maybe.
A lot of pressure down there.
Okay, gotcha. What were your inspirations for this game?
We kind of started more with genre and concept, and then kind of relied on, what other games had done from there.
Okay.
Our two main inspirations were the old Minecraft mod Galacticraft and and Subnautica.
I'd say, if you guys play Deep Rock Galactic, that
I have not.
it's like mining through.
I was gonna ask, was this inspired at all by the Wallace and Gromit short film where they go to the moon, where they go to the moon and try to get cheese?
The
No.
main idea it's kind of stemmed from is the moonbeam cheese.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to sell us?
We're thinking maybe there could be multiple different characters you could pick from, kind of like a Mario, Luigi, Peach kind of situation. There
Like Mario 2 or 3D World if you're newer to that.
Yeah, like you can be a hamster who's got a ball, which offers him different advantages.
No, the hamster has a bigger inventory because that's cheap pouches.
Right.
Ooh, actually, I like the game.
The rat is tankier because it's bigger. There's the desert mouse with the big legs that can jump higher.
I like these ideas a lot. Will there be roguelike elements?
I mean, if you die, you do kind of got to restart. But I wouldn't know.
Anything else?
I think that's all.
That's about
We've
it.
got.
Space is cool.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, if there's definitely cheese in the room. It's the moon.
Thanks for your time.
Thank y'all for presenting those. Okay. Want to do the closing announcements?
Are there closing?
I mean, why always just reiterate the announcements at the end? This
They
whole
did-
operation's falling apart without them.
Yep. Reminders, next meeting, sound effects. Same room as always, same time. After hours tomorrow. We'll be going over game engine architecture. It'll be a little bit more technically advanced. Hopefully a little bit more discussion based. So, if you want to nerd out for a while, that's kind of all we're doing there. Game Jam, Bessie, 22-26, April 10th at 7 p.m. So be there.
Or be square, and nobody wants to be.
Go forth. Go forth, make games, be awesome.
Thank you guys for coming.
Hey,